probably heard of the elevator game, and if you haven't, you gonna learn today. The elevator game is a very suspicious paranormal game, and some people think that it was even behind the death of Elisa Lam, the girl who died at the Hotel Cecil. I'm gonna tell you how the elevator game works, but y'all already know the drill. Don't try this at home. So basically, you get into an elevator. You need to be in a building that has at least 10 floors. There's a specific order that you have to follow with the floor. This is the order right here. When you get to the 5th floor, you supposedly encounter a woman. If she tries talking to you, do not respond to her and don't look at her. After you see this woman on the 5th floor, press the button to the 1st floor. If the elevator takes you down to the 1st floor, then leave and don't look back. This means that you were let go safely from the game. If the elevator goes up instead of down, then that means that you've entered a different dimension. Things might look slightly different now because you're in a different dimension. And if you see the woman, do not talk to her, don't even look at her. Part 2, I'm going to talk about how to get back to the actual world from the different dimension.
The Scariest Things Police Have Seen, Part 42. This story was sent to me by a police officer in California who wished to be anonymous. On June 17th, 2002, an air tanker crashed near Walker, California, while on a firefighting mission. The crash was even caught on camera. An officer saw the crash and ran to it. While running through the forest, he came upon 3 men in flight suits who seemed dazed and confused. He asked them if they saw the crash, but they wouldn't respond to him. Since they weren't helpful, he continued on. When he got to the crash site, he found that all passengers on board were killed. There were 3 men on board that plane. The officer went back to where he saw the men in the forest, but he couldn't find them anywhere. No one else who responded to the crash site had seen them. The officer then realized that the 3 men he saw in the forest were the spirits of the crew members that died that day.
What happens if you wake up during surgery? In 2008, Donna Penner was booked in for an exploratory laparoscopy at her local hospital. It should have been a routine procedure, but for some reason, the general anesthetic failed. With her body still paralyzed by the anesthetic drugs, Donna was unable to signal that anything was wrong. Over the next 90 minutes, she was forced to feel horrific pain as the doctor made the incisions on her body and moved around her internal organs.
Paranormal Disneyland Stories, Part 2. This one even has video surveillance. One park guest went to ride Space Mountain by himself. He started making conversation with the red-headed stranger in line next to him. The man was nice, but appeared a little off because he wasn't really up to date with some of the recent changes Disneyland had made. They were seated on the ride next to each other, and the roller coaster started. The park guests enjoyed the ride, but at the end when the lights flashed, the red-headed man disappeared. He spoke with a cast member about it, and they told him he was the only one in that row. That guest might have just had an encounter with a ghost nicknamed Mr. One Way. People say he interacts with guests in the line, rides with single riders, and even has appearances in the cast locker room. Surveillance footage even picked up some strange images that might be evidence of Mr. One Way.
This is
Live selling gone wrong.
Face Cantong short na to. 27.28. Ang ganda rin ng kulay na ito. What you see is what you get. Mine ako dito ng fade. 9 fade. For only 35 pesos lang.